Emmanuel Community Services is turning 40, as are a number of organizations in this community, including my organization, the Coalition on Homelessness. And that's not a coincidence. The modern crisis of homelessness as a result of public policy decisions is about 40 years old. In our community, we know that something on the order of 12,000 people are homeless on any given day and night. That translates to between 36,000 and 40,000 people per year at a minimum who experience homelessness in our community. Those numbers are large, but what's really important is to think about breaking those numbers down. So if you have 50 to 80 folks a day coming in to use the hygiene center, which is of course more than a warm shower, it's also being greeted like a person, having somebody who knows your name.
Actually, they were a sanctuary for me because they help with housing. They provide like showers, things you can use to shave, and trimmers to cut your hair, towels, and they do your laundry. So whatever you have in your backpack, you don't have to wear dirty clothes. Get out of the shower and put on dirty clothes. It's not cool. They're pretty much at our disposal. That's what they're there for, and they're great because I'm not homeless anymore. And I've been in my place now 2 years, and so I was out here 7 years. So yeah, they did make a big difference.
They average something like 100 people every week at the food bank, and 15 men have a safe, stable, clean place to sleep every single night. Those folks are getting the kind of survival help and gracious hospitality that they need to turn a corner.
I remember meeting Shauna. She worked at the hygiene center when I first started coming around, and I would put Donald Duck as my name when you sign in, because I was really ashamed that, instead of going home or going to a friend's house, I came to the hygiene center. So I was still trying to figure out who I was and what I wanted to do and what I was doing with my life. So I was in a real confused place at the time. At some point, I became the guy at Emmanuel that lives there. I was now a resident at the church, so I'd go to Matt Talbot in the day and Emmanuel in the evening. I wasn't sure that the program would work for me because it was my 10th attempt at sobriety. And so a lot of times I've had great treatments, great recovery, and I always lost it. And I didn't think that this would be any different. So I was kind of like cynical about the whole thing. But the program was a lot different. It was really, really different. It was just the warmth, the embrace, the love, the non-judgment. They didn't judge me. They dealt with my attitude. It was really just a horrible attitude. Kind of violent too, and belligerent, and they dealt with all that. My ears opened, my mouth closed. I listened a little more, and as a result, that patience, that love, I've done some amazing things.
So providing nutritious food, a warm welcome, the ability to take a shower, use a restroom, a place to sleep. Those are the basics that every human being needs, and ICS provides them in the midst of the greatest wealth and the greatest concentration of wealth that we've ever seen in the history of this planet. Seattle and King County have changed dramatically. Not just in 40 years, they've changed dramatically in the last 5 years. And right where ICS has its home in South Lake Union is probably the most dramatic landscape change that we have seen. We see the extremes of income inequality laid out in front of us in South Lake Union every day, every night, every block. It's impossible to ignore. What I think is extraordinary is that this small program that's focused on what we call survival services is maintaining and thriving in the midst of this very difficult and unequal environment. Shelter is the answer when people don't have a place to lay their heads at night. Housing is the answer to homelessness. ICS is also part of our community's work to make sure that we have the housing we need for people not to be without homes and homeless, but to be at home in our community.
And I'm just like humbled by the beginnings for me, you know. Like I remember this place, like this is where we poured the concrete for the foundation of my life. I've remarried, got a wonderful, beautiful wife now. I finished school at University of Washington. Things are really good. I came in to get refuge from the weather. That's the only reason I came, but I ended up staying and I've never left.